On behalf of ICSI Institute of Insolvency Professionals, I welcome all the participants to this today's webinar. The topic we have is e-platform for distressed assets by IU. So the information utility has developed a new platform, a digital platform for all the stakeholders uh, for their professional services. So we have today Mr. Raman. He is the Managing Director and CEO of the MESL. And again, we have Mr. Shankar. He is the Head of Relationship with MESL, and Mr. Sevan, he is the Manager of the Information Utility with the MESL. So we have the eminent three speakers, and I welcome Mr. Raman, Mr. Shankar, and Mr. Chetan to this webinar. And further, Mr. Raman will be giving a keynote address on the requirement of the e-platform, the emergencies for the e-platform in this era, because all the other professionals are, we know that they are all going into the electronic platform, the digital platform way. And we, the insolvency professionals and other stakeholders, especially in a CERP, you all know that various stakeholders are there, and we have a lot of documentation kind of works and everything is there, and people are wondering for the information from different sources, but there is no single source. So in this point of only, the IBBA suggested to have a single platform for all the stakeholders to put up their things, and the information can be generated from the same platform. So in such concept only, the e-platform being developed by the IU, the EDSL, and today Mr. Raman will be giving a keynote on that, and further the sections will be handled by Mr. Shankar and Mr. Chetan. All the Q&As also they will be answering in the end. So welcoming everyone to this webinar, and over to Mr. Raman. Thank you.
Good morning to all of you. A very big thank you to the ICSI and especially to Dr. Binoy. Just a check. I hope I am completely audible. So if somebody can just mention that I'm completely audible, I'll proceed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you're audible.
Right. Thank you. As we all know, the ICSI plays a pivotal role in corporate India, and the role of the ICSI has grown ever since the 2013 Companies Act amendments were passed. It is extremely heartening to see that the members of the ICSI have taken to the insolvency regime in the way that they have done. And as NESL, we have also been part of the insolvency regime and the legal framework for now over 3 years. I have myself been associated with the insolvency ecosystem since December 2016. And having had a bird's eye view of the developments, I compliment Dr. Binoy and his team at the ICSI for relentlessly pursuing the path of insolvency under the IBC framework. I do not have to mention it that there is certain fears and maybe, let me put it, large uncertainties that might be in the minds of all our friends and colleagues who are part of the insolvency ecosystem in India. What we are finding at the moment is actually 100% clarity and certainty as we move forward. The way the ordinance has been put together, I do not think it is adverse to whatever we have been doing under the IBBI guidance. In fact, our interactions with the IBBI have led us to believe that the leadership of Dr. Sahu and the clarity that he brings into his activity has been extremely beneficial to all of us who are under what I would call the insolvency ecosystem in the country. The IBC and the way the regulations have been laid down are clear and precise, and they have obviously in the last even 2.5 years that we have seen of active cases going through the IBC has created a sea change in the way corporate India looks at itself. So corporate India can no longer take refuge under dilatory tactics. The IBC is fair to everybody. It places the facts on the table. Hello.
What's your connection?
You're audible, sir.
Hello. Am I back? Am I back with everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm extremely sorry about that. I think we just lost power here, so I had to switch to my mobile hotspot. So I think I'll stick to that so that there's no further interruption. So as I was saying, we are looking forward to swift and quick resolutions where nobody can hide facts anymore. The creditors have now come into, I would call, an equal position with the debtors. Till now, I think what we were seeing in India was a predominance of the debtors when it came to aspects of resolution of their own business. All of you will agree with me that the IBC has restored that balance between creditors and debtors. I will take you one further step to mention how the information utility was designed and is now fully ready to play its small but crucial role in the process of resolution of insolvencies. The BLRC, the actual law, the regulations, and the technical standards of the IBBI. This is what I would call the legal framework in which the information utility operates. I want to just put broad points to all of you. I believe that making things short will bring more clarity to all of you when it comes to the role of the information utility. And the biggest point I want to make is information utility is a repository of electronic legal evidence. In the course of the last 3 years that we have been working on the software which runs the information utility, we have also achieved much greater clarity about our own role and what we will be able to produce and provide for the main players of the insolvency regime, which is all of yourselves as insolvency professionals. In my mind, it is the IBBI, the NCLT, the insolvency professionals who are the main antagonists and protagonists of the IBC regime. The insolvency professional actually finds its role both opposing the corporate debtor as well as for the corporate debtor. It's a very sensitive role. The insolvency professional sits as the effective management of the corporate debtor, but has to play a completely neutral and fair role vis-a-vis the set of financial and operational creditors. So the insolvency professional in a way is the man or the person on the ground who has the maximum trouble and therefore needs the maximum help. The information utility, through its role of providing evidence, therefore helps the insolvency professional directly. It helps the NCLT also directly, because finally NCLT wishes to look at the evidence that the IU stores and wishes to have an independent access to that evidence. The IU helps the IBBI in holding all the information together in one place and thereby serving as an electronic MIS in the largest sense of the term to the IBBI. The information utility therefore looks upon its role as providing factual data for the players to present and for another set of players to take decisions. The information utility by design is meant to hold information of financial operational contracts. It does so for the entire journey of these contracts, including the phase of default of any of these contracts. The phase of default may get replaced once again with a normal phase. That means any default can convert to a regular loan or a standard loan, as the banks call it. The process or the journey is what is important. The journey of any corporate in India is peppered with taking of debt in a variety of instruments from a variety of creditors in the country. Banks are the largest and therefore the most focused upon, but we also have bonds, debentures, commercial paper, intercorporate advances, and public deposits. All these are instruments that corporates use for leverage and liquidity in providing the output of their respective businesses. The information utility today, therefore, holds about 80 lakh crore of outstanding debt in the form of all these instruments. Of course, bank loans is a majority of this 80 lakh crore. So I would say somewhere in the region of 65 lakh crores or 68 lakh crores is bank loans, and the remaining 15 to 12 lakh crores is the rest of the instruments. But as we move forward as a modern economy, we may find that raising capital through bonds and debentures becomes more and more frequented by corporates. The government of India in the recent past had encouraged corporates to make more borrowings through bonds and debentures. SEBI has actually come out with a rule which says listed companies should have 25% of their borrowings through bonds and debentures. So whatever the instrument may be, the information utility holds information of credit contracts in a safe and secure manner from the cradle to the grave, from the start of the debt to the end of the debt. Quickly, let me come to operational creditors. They are a constant in any corporate's life. They do not have, as per the understanding of BLRC and IBC, they do not have a long-term or a strategic interest in the health of the corporate. But certainly they are an extremely important component of any corporate's business life. The operational creditors have seen immense value under IBC and have therefore used IBC as much as financial creditors have used. Of course, operational creditors, in terms of the value of their credit given to a corporate, may certainly be less. But in terms of the importance to a corporate, an operational creditor is as important to a corporate in terms of giving goods and services and various other supplies to the corporate. So information utility is therefore open to all economic agents. So let us not for a moment think that information utility is only for banks. It is for any agent which deals in the economy, has some pecuniary interest in a corporate. And I'm talking economic agents even down to individuals. The IBC is therefore one of the most transparent and all-encompassing laws that I think have been made in this country in the economic sphere. As an individual, and we do not as an information utility go into the contents of any contract, but we know that when a person registers in the information utility as a creditor, there is a small registration process that we undertake. Through that, we know the types of creditors that have come to the information utility. And I can tell you that many individuals have registered in the information utility as creditors. They may even have provided financial credit to corporates. So India is a very, vast country with so many HNIs who have put their money effectively with corporates. They have also realized the value of the information utility, because under one roof, when all creditors come together, they get the benefits of each other's actions. I will proceed now to just give you a flavor of the benefits that creditors get from the information utility. The biggest and most primary benefit which RBI has recognized in its letter written to all the banks and NBFCs is the benefit of credit monitoring that the information utility provides. Because all credits, all instruments of debt are available and filed in the information utility, in a single stroke, any creditor can see the full indebtedness profile of a particular debtor. So if I have provided any credit to a particular corporate debtor, I want to know exactly what is the full indebtedness of that corporate debtor. I simply have to give to the information utility proof of consent of that debtor, and I can view the entire profile of debt that lies in the information utility for that particular debtor. The IBBI is extremely modern in its thinking, and therefore it has gone into a consent mechanism right from day one. It is a consent which every debtor will give to its creditor, because that is the way contracts are drawn up. Every creditor has the right contractually to get information from its debtor as to what is the total debt of that debtor at a particular point of time. So if you see any bank loan covenant, you'll find one of the covenants clearly states that the debtor will keep informed to the bank all its other borrowings that it takes. In fact, in the past, it used to be to the extent that the debtor will get a no objection from a particular creditor before taking a fresh debt from another creditor. So what IU has incorporated is a simple consent mechanism where the creditor declares that consent from the debtor is available. The debtor is informed that the creditor wishes to look at the information, and the information is thereafter provided to the creditor. Credit monitoring basically requires absence of asymmetry of information. IU therefore has taken a giant step towards reducing asymmetry of information between the class of creditors and a particular debtor. This is a very big step forward because now we are talking about the information utility becoming the single largest credit repository in the country. With 80 lakh crores of loans outstanding or debt outstanding to corporates, there is no other entity in India which has such a large accumulation of corporate debt in a single place. So this is the single biggest contribution that IBC has made to the country by providing information to all creditors electronically at the press of a submit button on a keyboard. The second very, very big output of the IU is at any point of time, early warning signals are sent across the entire community of creditors who have an exposure to a particular debtor. When any of those creditors, be it a financial creditor or be it an operational creditor, files a default against a particular debtor, the IU is actually blind. It's truly in terms of, the image of fair evidence. It is blindfolded. It does not see who is putting what information. It just looks at the information, transmits it to the other parties of the debt. So if a creditor puts information in the IU, the information is sent to the principal borrower, to the guarantor, to the co-obligant, whoever else may be a party to that particular debt. The IU therefore holds evidence for the reason that authenticated information is available in the IU. The meaning of authentication derives directly from the Information Technology Act, which states that authentication is the act of putting a digital signature. Read with the Evidence Act, the authentication or the proof of digital signature leads this particular record to become non-repudiable in the future. It is a very simple understanding of IBC plus Information Technology Act plus Evidence Act, which leads to the evidence coming from the IU when presented before any legal forum, and I'm not restricting it to NCLT. It could be even arbitration. It could be a mediator, anybody who follows a process of law, of natural justice. In any of these fora, the presentation of evidence from the IU, along with the requirements of the Evidence Act under Section 65B(4) of the Evidence Act, which basically converts electronic evidence into documentary evidence admissible in a court. For this reason, IU has been regarded by the Supreme Court itself as prima facie evidence in a legal proceeding. Therefore, when we talk the word default is a legal term, and therefore the IU provides evidence of default. In the court or in the legal forum, it is between the parties and the judge or the adjudicator to decide whether the defendant has enough evidence to overthrow the statement of default. So a creditor is stating that there is a default, but in any legal forum, it is always available for the debtor to disprove that the default did not take place. And that is the role of the adjudicating officer. the IU is purely presenting evidence. The IU helps the NCLT to admit a case under IBC, whereby the case moves to the COC for the final resolution. So the second very big important contribution of the IU is to help get a case admitted quickly under the provisions of IBC and allow for a matter to go before the COC for a quick resolution. IBC has given full powers, and the Supreme Court judgments have said that it is the COC is really that institution which holds the power and takes the decisions. The adjudicating officers are there only to ensure that fairness and transparency at all points of time are adhered to. So what the information utility does is it provides the occurrence of default or the event of default as an information to all the creditors who may have gotten exposure to a particular debtor. We know that banks do not know what really happens in a corporate, whether a corporate has failed to pay an operational creditor or failed to pay another bank. But the minute all the creditors come together and say that any event of default will be filed in the IU, the entire class of creditors gets the benefit of the action of one of the creditors. So the information utility has already put out information of default in 8 lakh cases. So there are 8 lakh default filings by various creditors in the information utility. And this information, after passing through the due process of the IU as given in the regulations, it is then sent out as information. So let us remember, the information given by IU is not a judgment. IU cannot be a judge. IU is only providing information. The reason for the information utility to be a central place holding information helps the insolvency professional at various points. So as soon as an insolvency professional is appointed, the access to information on the information utility provides a full history of all the debts that a particular corporate debtor has taken during its life as filed by various creditors in the IU. Under the IBC, under the regulations of IBBI, the IBBI has taken a very big step forward and asked for services to be now rendered to IPs. And under that empanelment process of the IBBI, information utility NESL has been empaneled by the IBBI to provide services to the insolvency professionals. The remaining part of today's discussion and interaction is focused on this particular offering by NESL towards the entire ecosystem and community of insolvency professionals. We are extremely happy to have brought to your attention, and we will therefore, in a very short period of time, with the help of the IPAs and with the approval of the IBBI, we will be coming forward and launching this particular service. It is a service, as I said, meant for the IP from the moment the IP has been appointed as an IP under the CIRP, extending all the way and including till the end of liquidation. As we know, a case may get resolved under CIRP, or it may go forward for another journey under the liquidation regulations of the IBBI. What we have therefore created and mapped to a nicety is the entire process that an IRP or an IP has to undertake under the regulations of the IBBI. Therefore, this particular service, and I'm calling it a CIRP module for short, the CIRP module basically is a work tool or constitutes the office of the IRP, because this software can be utilized by the IRP stroke IP and all the other players in the ecosystem, including claimants, including resolution professionals, including resolution applicants, including the COC, including banks who are monitoring the cases, all persons who have an interest and a stake in the resolution process are persons who can have access to their limited requirement in the entire process of CIRP stroke liquidation. Of course, the IPA and the IBBI have access of all information. The IPA will have full access of information of their particular IPs and whatever their IPs are doing. The IBBI, of course, has complete universal access for all the information that will be held under this software called CIRP module. It is hoped that as a country, when all cases are put into this particular CIRP module in terms of data, and I'm specifically saying this because even for the around 800 cases that have already gone through resolution, it is very easy for the IP to feed the data into this particular module and therefore save it for eternity or for the prescribed period of 8 years that the data is to be stored, and therefore the IP relieves himself of the burden of storing the data. This data is stored under the information utilities data center. It is stored within the country and therefore adheres to all the laws of the land, including the regulations of the IBBI. Even for closed cases, we will be able to work out a simple methodology for IPs to put in all the information into this module, and therefore for the remaining 8 years, they will not need to worry about data storage. Access of that information obviously will be available during the period of 8 years based on the permission given by authorities to access that data. So what we are looking at is, for IBBI and IPAs, a series of reports that seamlessly and without any extra effort are sent by the IPs to their respective IPAs or to the IBBI. What we're looking at is a very quick turnaround and much easier day-to-day work for the IP, because the software allows for access and data entry by the respective players. So a claimant, for example, will come to the IP, seek the username and password from the IP, enter its claims. The IP has the ability to check those claims against the information utilities records, and the IP therefore has a greater power and ability to take a decision on the correctness of that claim. Similarly, for resolution applicants, the information memorandum gets automatically built up within the software. The IP keys in the information in the software itself, and therefore over a period of time, the data about the corporate debtor, the data of the claims, whatever other secondary data that may exist within MCA, all this information is brought together to create the information memorandum, which is then viewed by resolution applicants again based on the username, password, and the privileges given by the IP to potential resolution applicants. So I just wanted to give you a background and a build up towards what the information utility is currently doing. It has taken us about 2 years. In fact, operationally, the information utility started operations in January of 2018. And in the subsequent, now, let me say 2.5 years, the entire data of corporate India has now come into the information utility. For the other businesses, which is partnership, proprietorship, other MSME businesses, about 70% of the data has come in from the creditors. So in another couple of months, we would expect that figure to also come close to 100%. So we are talking about resolution of corporate businesses under CIRP. We are also expecting very soon the IBBI to come out with a resolution process for other businesses, typically the MSMEs, which could be proprietorships, which could be partnerships, which could also be corporates. So with the full information regarding other commercial entities, the information utility will be able to play its role much more effectively for the entire ecosystem. So let me sort of take a break over here. I would request my colleague Shankar to bring before you what is it that we are offering through this CIRP module. And between Shankar and my other colleague Chetan, they will present to you the information. I sincerely request all of you to ask questions as per the protocol of these webinars. You may type in the question. We will certainly have a question answer session once the module is shown to you fully, and I will be available very much through this session and will be happy to take questions towards the end. So let me hand you over to Mr. Shankar. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Raman, for giving your keynote address on the importance of IU and also explaining the services offered by NESL since starting 2008 and till date. So as you currently pointed out, the information is a very vital part of the CIRP process, and we have various stakeholders like FC, OC, NCLT, IBBI, IPA, and resolution applicant, IRC companies and all. So even you can see that IPs are struggling a lot with the reporting kind of things. They have to report to IPA, they have to report to IBBI. So if you have a single platform of this e-platform, then all the stakeholder IP can do the single entry in this platform, and it is accessible to both IPS and IBBI. And further, the process is also streamlined, and it is accessible by the NCLT or the other OCs or FCs, whoever may be who handling the particular modules of this CIRP process. So it is a very good development, the software being development made by the NESL to these IBC stakeholders. Thank you, Mr. Raman, who is again a C&G fellow, being the helm of affairs with the NESL, for taking this e-platform things very seriously for the benefit of the IBC stakeholders. So now we move to the session with Mr. Shankar and Mr. Chetan. So over to them for the presentation of the module and the platform. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Binay and Mr. Raman. And thank you for the opportunity given by ICSI IPA and to present our platform and what we can do to the IPs. So as Mr. Raman was saying, the role of insolvency professionals is very sensitive, and a lot of pressure is on them. It is the most pivotal role in the IBC ecosystem because the resolution or otherwise of a company depends upon the performance of the insolvency professional, like whether IRP or RP. And even if it fails, to recover the maximum value, the liquidator has to do things in transparent manner so that the creditors recover the maximum value out of the auction assets or auction as a going concern and all. So these insolvency professionals have to do these things in a time-bound manner in 180 days, 270 days, or 330 days, if it's a liquidation within a year. And in the CARP process, you will have to maintain the company as a going concern. So for that, you will have to do a lot of things simultaneously, finding out a resolution plan. So you have to, during the process, you may have to raise interim finance and manage the day-to-day affairs of the operations and also collect information for the information memorandum. Apart from the statutory information memorandum, you also have to collect a lot of other information related to the business so that the quality of information memorandum goes up and it can attract more good resolution applications and a successful resolution plan. So you have to do all these things in a transparent manner also. And while you are doing all these things, your actions are under scrutiny by scores of people, apart from the regulators and the creditors, outsiders are also very closely scrutinizing because your success of the resolution will be beneficial to the employees, labor, everybody. And you will have to, during the process, you will have to manage government departments, taxation, legal issues. So hundreds of things when you're doing, and you have to set and all the process are scrutinized by people. So you will have to have some technology support because of due to which, that IBBA and IPS are now trying to facilitate a platform and technology which can be professionals so that their work becomes easy. A technology platform which will give alerts and alarms at the right time so that you don't miss anything, and also maintain records for future scrutiny, online scrutiny, inspection by the regulators, because it is stored in a neutral platform of NESL IU. And meanwhile, I'll just show an Excel sheet, our understanding of the reports and the registers, the forms which you have to generate through the CARP and liquidation. So you have the 2019 circular from IBBA saying CARP 6 reports, which are all you have to give in 7 days, 3 days time after the incidents are happening. So you have to give registered valuers reports. These are all the reports which you will have to give to IBBA. And then next IP report. You have to, these are all the things which I said. At resolution period, so there are so many reports, forms you have to generate. FC claim report, okay, and then FTRP. So OC claim report, distribution report, brief sales report, preliminary report, interim report, all these things. And you will be receiving plenty of claims also. If somebody has to sit and enter, it takes time, and the claimants can enter the claims in our system so that it automatically, if once you have approved the claims, it automatically generates the committee of creditors. At the liquidation stage, it generates the stakeholders' names, and it also calculates the voting percentage automatically depending upon the claim accepted. So you have to have so many forms to be reported. Liquidation itself, you have to maintain some 10 different registers, and you have to generate asset memorandum. So apart from this, you have to send to IPA that event-based, time-based reports as under the monetary policy of the first level regulator, the IPAs. Then the IBBA also asks for all these reports. So you have to generate reports and give them at the right time. Error-free and timely report submission is very, very important, so that the regulator can find out what's happening in each process and take mid-course corrections if required. So you are also safe, you can also be confident that what you are doing is like getting registered in a platform which will be stored even after 8 years, like during next 8 years. If somebody wants to scrutinize the transactions, it is available with the IU platform, and it's all real time. As in when you are entering into the system, the system reports get generated, the alerts need to be held, you have to send the reports, and then alarm. If you have failed, like to do something, the alarms come out of this. And this system starts from not only from the IRP appointment, it is designed to start from the time the financial creditor generates form 1 and sends application to the NCL. Now with electronic filing, it can be done automatically. The FCs, the banks, like if they use it, automatically the form 1B can be generated and submitted to the NCLT. Those things have to be developed now. Once the entire electronic filing happens with all the NCLTs, we will work with them to do this. So automatically the IRP gets appointed and that IRP takes over. When you hand over to the RP, in case the RP is appointed, the RP has the benefit of all the information which you have. Then the resolution application, as per the under the PDA, we have the 4 services raise, and then you can invite expression of interest for resolution applications in a transparent manner. Whoever can, like the resolution applications come, and we will show in the PPT, they access whatever I see, the other cannot see. Access control matrix is all are available. So then the resolution plan comes, you give access to the information memorandum and evaluation matrix, and resolution plans you receive after that, and you scrutinize. So everything happens on the platform on a transparent manner. That is the basic purpose of which IBBA has empaneled us to develop the PDA. And we have gone a step ahead so that we can help. We have been developing the case management system from the application stage to the final dissolution stage completely, so that the IPs, it is like a electronic secretarial support. And without, you don't have to bother, remember or tell your assistants whether that report is gone or not, because the report is auto-generated in this system. If somebody uses the case management system from the beginning, the statutory information memorandum gets generated automatically, and you can store it in that VDR. Invite, then send the invitation, public notices. The forms are getting generated automatically. Every form gets generated so that you don't have to. And we also give connections, which paper you gave an advertisement, those things automatically get stored. So it is going to help you in big way to generate the reports and forms and registers, which in my opinion, is one of the toughest job. Because you are handling absolutely, naturally you are handling some other tougher jobs of maintaining the system, maintaining the company, running the company, and to maintain it as in a going concern stage, so that a good resolution can happen to the loan account, problem accounts. And if it goes into liquidation, you hold it in an if you have to sell the assets, even there the advertisement, give the public announcement happens, and you give the basic information on assets to the prospective bidders, and then you generate information memorandum and gives it to the adjudicating authority. All these things can be generated because the RP already would have entered all the asset information and all. So once you take over from the RP as a liquidator, if you are different from that RP, you have the benefit of all the information collected by the RP. So your work also becomes easier. So continuously at every stage, whatever reports registers can, and even in between, your inspection by the regulator can happen online, through this system. And as Mr. Raman was saying, if complete, the information comes on this system by all the IPs, existing closed accounts as well as ongoing and the prospective cases, the regulator can have a very, very useful MIS. This system, if it is used by everybody, the quarterly news report is published by IBBA, whatever statistics, it can be generated on a weekly, a fortnightly or monthly basis, so that, a geography, any type of information, pie charts can be developed, and you can understand which geography is doing well, which IPs are doing, and NCLT is faster. Like a lot of MIS also can be generated out of this system. More important, and fundamentally our idea, because we have been going the country showing this system to various IPs. I would have talked to many of you earlier also. Chetan also would have talked many of the participants over webinar. They have shown that. But ultimately now we have come to, as Mr. Raman was saying, we have come to a time that it can be introduced very shortly. And so I would suggest, we will show the PowerPoint, Chetan will talk on the PowerPoint and the facilities which are available. Thank you.
Good afternoon, participants. My presentation is, can you see my presentation, sir? Shankar, sir?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So I'll go directly on a presentation. This is the journey of IU so far. March 17, the IU regulations were notified. September, we were given a license to commence our operations. November 17, onboarding of operational creditors started. Operational creditors are the first people who registered on platform and started uploading. December 17, RBI also notifies to banks and NBFCs, so all regulated entities of banks, to start sharing the information with the information utility. Banks took some time for 3-4 months to prepare the data file format as per requirement. As you are aware that in information utility, every creditor is required to upload Form C. So we have specified the Form C format. Banks prepared that format in a bulk form and they uploaded. March 18, banks started uploading the data. So as on March 31st, we have already around 270 financial institutions live and uploading a data. There are many other entities, those are in a process of registration, those are already signed the agreements. We have around 95% of loans to companies given to in a market. When we compare this with the your BRRC, which is available on RBI website on a quarterly basis, banks are uploading, so that information is available. So we have around 16 lakh records loans given to companies. We have records loan given to individual also, because RBI is clear. RBI is saying all records pertaining to all type of loans should be uploaded in our system. So banks are not looking only a corporate debtors record; they are uploading information against the individuals also. So that loans records are also coming in our platform. Recently, debentures trustees gone live and they started uploading a data of the debentures against the companies. So that information is also there. Very soon, all the bonds information will also come. So this will be a one place where all type of credit information would be available. Of course, operational creditors are already uploading this information, and many people, many financials and operational creditors have taken a record of default from our system, which is now after the May 12, it has become mandatory. All the NCLTs are asking record of default with the application, so they are downloading a record of default from our system. Now coming to a platform for distress asset. So IBPI issued the RFP, which they asked the invitation to the market players to apply for these 4 services. The service one is a virtual data room for invitation of resolution plan and liquidation. So invitation, preparation of the information, so sending the invitation through electronic platform to the resolution applicants, then finalization of the resolution applicants, accepting their resolution plan, and evaluation of that plan. It was a main idea behind that thing, and it should be happen electronically. So there should not be a chance of leakage of the information or slippage of the information. So to bring the more transparency, they wanted a fully controlled, secure platform for that. Second service of invitation and evaluation of the resolution plans. So it is you can say the comparable, the same like a virtual data room only, where invitation and evaluation will be happen of the resolution plan happen on electronic platform smoothly. The third service was auction during the liquidation. Currently, liquidators are doing auction on whatever platforms available, and there are different terms and conditions over there on different platforms. So IBBI wanted that should be happen on a one place where all the IPs can take a chance and they can conduct the auctions on that particular platform. So reports and requires as per the IBBI or IPA can be generated. The fourth service were marketplace for interim finance. So IBBI's wish list was there should be some marketplace where the RP or IRP who wanted some interim finance to run the business for next 180 days or 270 days. If there's a need of interim finance, the funds can be raised through a proper channel where the maybe some classified information can be shared in the restricted way to the eligible people. We cannot share the classified information of public domain so the people could come. There are many instances where the people who want to invest in these insolvency going through companies, corporate debtors, but they could not find a more material information on the on a public domain. So there are the chances of compromising the public in a public domain information of in this. So what they decided, there should be a platform where the restricted access can be given to the interested party, so they can see the value in the company and they come for the investment, and there should be a proper price discovery. It should not like one person is saying I will give it a 20% per annum and RP is directly going over there. There could be a chance maybe any other financer want to give it a lower rate. So that should be a price discovery over there. So that was the overall requirement from the IBBI, and we are very soon launching all these services. So what NESL PDA services are saying, we are looking ourselves as a one-stop solution for all services across the ecosystem of the insolvency and bankruptcy code. As our MD said, from day one from case registration, when the debt is allowing, the debt information will come on our system. After that, if a case is going as a default, that information generated from record of default, this information access to IPs. If you want to manage whole case in an IP model of the NESL, you can do that thing. If you want to store this information for next 8 years, you can use the virtual data room. It will be very helpful for the business continuity. If you want to raise the interim finance in that particular solution only, you can raise the interim finance. If you want to conduct the auction, you can do the conduct the auction at that platform itself. So at one platform, IRP, liquidator, or whoever the stakeholders of this IBC case can use this platform, and so data can be stored at one place. So as we are using the event-based technologies, so we can generate whatever reports we want, whenever the regulator wants, whenever the IPA wants, they can generate the reports from them. Coming to more specifically about the every service. So like we are working so long for the end-to-end IP model, which will be a pure case management solution for CIRP and liquidation process. This system, what we are designing, it will give opportunity to all the stakeholders of the case management under the IBC to use this platform and feed the data. Take an example, when any IRP get a case, you first doing a public announcement when you are getting a lot of claims, maybe offline mode, maybe over the physical copies you are getting in a claim. You are getting some things in an email, maybe you are developing some software where you are asking to submit the information online. But again, there's a requirement at IP is involving service providers to accommodate that data in some electronic format, then do lot of acceptance or rejection of the claims, so claim verification, and then maybe there will be a to and fro communication between the claimant and IRP. So there are a lot of discussions happen, but it is happening at some different mode. So in this system, what we have developed, let all the claimants directly come on a platform and upload this information on our system. So when the claimants will upload this information, IRP will get this information on the platform itself. IRP can either accept or reject, or if you want more information, can seek more information from these claimants. And when you will accept or reject, this information will be automatically conveyed to the communicated to the claimant. So this information will be accommodated one place. On the basis of acceptance, the COC will be formed with all the percentage or voting rights, category of the creditors. Everything will be generated by the system, so you can keep a proper eye on that thing. So in that way, this is a one example. So we have a lot of other things in that, like meetings management. You can conduct, you can set the agenda, you can send the communication to particular group or of all COC members. You can send the minutes of the meeting. You can, in future, we are working on a e-voting. So a lot of things will happen on this whole case management solution. We have considered the CIRP process as well as liquidation process in mind. So this case management is not just case management where you can use this thing. This case management is designed such a way, it is following the CIRP deadlines, timelines, liquidation timelines also. Time to time, system will give you alerts and alarms that this particular report is due. The, next day, so in a calendar, in our system, in a calendar, you can see after 2 days what you have to do, what is your to-do list, what is the deadline is nearing. So it will take care of your compliance also. When I say take care of compliance, means the system will keep alerting you this compliance is pending after 2 days or after 3 days. So IP can focus more on a value thing, on a resolution plan. What is that work? So this clerical kind of thing the system will facilitate, and it will remind you as a secretary that this information is this compliance you have to do. Our system will generate those reports as required by the educating authority or IBPI or IPA. You have to just download that thing, sign and send to the respective. And in future, we will integrate our system with the IBPI or IPA to send directly through the to the IPA email or IBPI's whatever platform it will be, we will send directly. So it is an end-to-end process for the CIRP as well as a liquidation process. Now, if you see the IBPI requirement was the two, the service 1 and service 2. One is a virtual data room and the other is the invitation and evaluation of the resolution plans. So if you see our IP model, the case management solution, having these 9 broader perspective. What is the first is the claim management. You can use the claimants only to feed in the data where you can just verify or accept it. So the communication will happen on the platform itself. So there will be no future. You can say the physical mode of the communication. Everything will be electronic. So it will create a evidence also. It will create a traceability also. Second is a COC meeting, COC formation and meetings. So all meetings management you can do over the platform itself, like setting up the agenda, calling for the meeting, sending the minutes of the meeting, logging of the e-voting logs over there. So if you see the silent feature, we have mentioned that we are in the process of integrating our system for the e-voting platform also. From this platform only you will do the e-voting. So everything will be at the one place. Fourth is the generation of the information memorandum. Sorry, third point. Third point is the asset details, asset and business details with valuation details. So in our this IP model, you can create the asset information. You can invite the valuers. You can, when you will appoint the valuers also can come on a platform and upload their valuation report on the platform. So let's assume you are appointing 3 valuers. 3 valuers are coming. They will upload their information, their valuation report over there. System will provide you the template where you can see all the 3 valuation reports. So you can take a decision or you can forward that information to COC for their consideration. So in that way, same in the same platform, IP or RP will not do the data cleaning. You can do it, that provision is also there, but valuer themselves will come, register and upload this information on a platform. So the other stakeholders will also use this platform. They can also see the status of that information. So the information will be built up in our system, which will be ultimately the point 4, help to generate the information memorandum. If you see the model information memorandum is given by the IBPI, prescribed by the IBPI. So they are having around 7 to 8 sections. Out of 7 to 8 sections, we can find that assets and business data, COC information, so all liabilities, assets, these reports can be generated through the system, which is already duly verified by the RP or IRP in the due process. So it will help to you generate an information memorandum. So, or you can directly create this information outside and directly start from this point where you will prepare the information memorandum in this point only itself. Then sending the invitation to resolution applicants. So you can generate the form G over there where you will send this invitation to all people. If you are doing the advice, as you require to do the advertisement in the newspapers, you will do the advertisement in the newspaper and you will submit a link or a scan copy of that thing to create a record of that thing. So invitation can be created through this. Then access of information. Now, when the resolution applicants read that invitation, many will be interested. So you will get the link of request from the interested resolution applicants. Then RP or IRP will do their due diligence and identify whether those are eligible or those are not eligible. Once those are eligible are finalized after due diligence, you will finalize the resolution applicants and you will give them more access to them. See, at this point, many people want to get a more, maybe a classified information of the corporate data. So you will give this access to the particular resolution applicant who can view the more detailed information of the financial and accounts of the corporate data. And if they are okay with that information, they will submit their resolution plan. Then again, all the resolution applicants will submit their resolution plan. All resolution plan will be available in the system. We have created an evaluation matrix over there where RP with his wisdom, he will give the score over there. You will give the scoring and you can forward that to the COC for their consideration or approval. And so you can use this system across the entire case management solution. Liquidation process, and if the liquidation process is starting, you want to get a more claims or something, a stakeholders claim, you can again start from the point one. Again, if you want to conduct some meeting or something, you can use it. You want to revalue of, you want to edit the revalue information of the assets, you can do it. Again, information memorandum, or you want to conduct the auction or everything you can do on this platform. So all the reports like minutes of the COC, logs of the e-voting and e-auction will be stored in electronically data virtual data room. In between, whatever the requirement of creating a cost sheet, that is also there. You can key in a cost sheet, so it will be stored over there. Non-compliance system will generate give the option to record the non-compliances, so reports can be generated over there. System will also indicate, okay, you are deviating from this compliance time on something, so you want to record that thing, you can do that thing. Grievances, if you are receiving anything, all the grievances and what is your correspondence on the grievances can be recorded in our platform. All the regulatory reporting, like form GNHI gauges, for example, as Shankar sir explained, there are a lot of reports available. You can get it generated from the system. So silent feature is easy to use web-based portal. It will be integrated with the e-auction platform. Future is e-voting platform also we want to do. Storage for the next 8 years. It will be totally secured access. Only secured people who's having a registration on a platform can use. System will do the audit trail from which IP the system was used, whether it was from mobile or by the system, from which geolocation it was used. So who used the system, everything is tracked over there. What activity any user conduct on a system, it will be logged over there, so it can give a more transparent reports whenever the regulator or any educating authority wants. Audit logs will be maintained over there. Data stored in the NESL data center. So like there's a requirement under the IBC overall, if you see, for the IPS also, or for the IU also, for the RPs also, like data of the related to the any IBC cases should be stored within India. Now many RPs or IPs for the smaller cases, maybe they are using their personal email IDs, say Gmail, Yahoo, Rediff Mail, any email IDs. So we don't know where are the a lot of information is being exchanged through emails, but we don't know where are the data centers of these service providers. So in this case, if you are using this platform, data will be stored in the NESL, and our data center is within India. Our regulator is doing inspection whenever, as per our regulations, once in a year. They are also seeing our all this infrastructure, and they are being audited at time to time. So this is the sense of security you will get from this application. So service 1 and service 2, sir. So service 1 and service 2 is like mostly start from, if you don't want to use end-to-end system, then you can directly start from the form G stage, where you will do the public announcement and you will give the basic information about the corporate debtor. Then there will be a receipt of the prospective RAs application who are interested in this corporate debtor. Prospective RAs will submit online application along with the documents like affidavit and whatever documents you want as per the process. The system will ask for the checklist. The applicant will the prospective RS has to apply through the system, and you will get a queue like these are the people who are interested. Then RPs with their wisdom and due diligence maybe ask, do the due diligence and finalize the RAs, prospective RAs or provisional RAs. In that, if you want any online, there's an online queries or any FAQs over there, you can do. You can resolve over the platform itself. No need to send a separate mail or something. In a system like a chat only or forum discussion only, it will happen. Finally, there will be a generation of list of final provisional RAs. Now, to these final provisional RAs, RP will give a additional access or the access of the information. In access of the information, you will give access of the particular folder or particular reports. Both you can give the access. Once you give the access, the prospective RAs can see this information in more detail. So they will see the information in more detail. They will go through that information and they will submit their resolution plan accordingly. Even you will give them an evaluation matrix so they can feed in data in particular format itself. So it is totally in a right of the resolution resolution professional when if you find that some RA is ineligible in a due process, you can revoke the access also. So whatever the information he is accessed, but further he cannot access that information if you find that. So you can do that thing also. So anytime you can give access to any person or anytime you want, you can revoke also. Then final is the evaluation of the resolution plans. On receipt of resolution plans from all the RAs, RP will do the using evaluation matrix, do the evaluation, he will give the score, and all the scores with a tabular format will be generated from the system. The same can be submitted to the COC for their approval. Once COC is approved that thing, you can download that thing and submit to the educating authority for their approval. So these both services are there. So again repeating that, if you want, I'm going back to the slide. If you want, you can use the entire case management solution from the claims, from even before the claim, doing a public announcement from this portal to the end. Or if you want to use only a virtual data room, then you can start from the 5 onwards. So 5 to 8, or if you want to use from 1 to 9, you can use it. It's totally your choice. So the VDR functionality in more granularity, this will enable IRP, RP liquidator to securely collect, prepare, maintain and update the business and asset information. It will help to make a public announcement inviting prospective RAs and give them access to the information of the assets as well as liabilities in a CRP or liquidation. It will enable the stakeholders to grant access to the resolution applicants for the limited period of time, so they can only read business asset informations, one or more CDs. If there are more corporate debtors, you can use that. So this is a virtual data room. These are security features. So whoever is accessing this information in our portal, even a RP, if RP is accessing using our system, so when you enter some data, if any data change, who changed, when changed, who viewed the information, who downloaded, IP address as well as geolocation of the users will be stored in our system. So it can be given more transparent information if there is any complaint or any grievances. So this will be very helpful. Even so, let's assume you are generating the COC, you are forming a COC. So on 15th day you got only 15 claims. So with the 15 claims you generated the COC, you generated all the liability or what we say outstanding amount list. So that will be treated as a version 1.0. If there is any change, even a 1 paisa amount change, minus or plus, if you are doing any changes, when you will download this report, it will call as a version 2. And it will be stored, it will be mapped using this traceability model. Excuse me. The QR code will be available on a document which will identify there's a change in the information, the version number is changed. So this will be very helpful. So the whatever data I am accessing, that is the up to date or not, and I would be more assured that what I am seeing this information is latest. If there is any change, I can trace out that thing. The second part is the security features, what IBB expect. That is the traceability. Now, let us assume one RA downloaded the report or any document, financial information of the CD, and he compromised with that information circulated over the public domain. Currently, there is no option to do or easy option to verify who leaked this information or who compromised this information on a public domain. So all the documents who are going to be downloaded from this IP model from media or in end-to-end services, it will come with a QR code. That QR code will help to find the traceability. This QR code, if you scan, it will tell who downloaded, when downloaded it, version number of the document, IP addresses and geolocation, like who downloaded and who compromised this document on a public domain can be traced. This will be helpful, and it is like a sense of security, a sense of assurance to the resolution applicants, like what information I got, it is the latest one. If someone is claiming that I submitted a resolution plan as per some other information available or provided by the RP, we can support with this traceability, like whether your information was the same or not. The same information was shared with all these provisional RP resolution applicants, or some specified, or it was given a different report to the some selected RAs. So this can be taken care of over there. So this will be very helpful. Liquidation process, if you want to use this process of end-to-end virtual data room or end-to-end case management for the liquidation process, so you can do a public announcement, application by the interested parties, due diligence by liquidator, and granting access. So same process as I discussed. You can take a decision of the conducting auction from the COC, like what will be a EMD, closed or running auction, timelines for the settlement, etc. You can take a decision, and you can configure in an auction platform, and you will conduct the auction platform in e-auction. So there was a two requirement from the PDS requirement. One is the auction during the liquidation. The fourth is the marketplace for interim finance. So our system is like a broad scope available across the multiple auction parameters. As you understand, there are multiple ways of doing auction. American auction, Yankee auction, Japanese auction. So there are different type of auctions. Closed bid auction, like one time only you will submit, or you want to do an auction like continuously, like people will bid every increment of 500 or 5,000. So there's all type of these are available, all type of auctions available. Transparency, it is auditable. Never we will show the highest bidder or the lowest bidder in any time. You will see only what you are bidding and what is the highest bidder. Who bid it, you will not came to know about this thing. Only the administrator, that is a liquidator or a RP who is conducting the auction, he can only see. Reliability and security, expertise, we will give a training. We are impaneled with one of the giving this auction services for so long to the state governments and to many state governments on the banking auction. So it will be helpful. We will give a end-to-end knowledge sharing, operational support to conduct this. Close collaboration with the participants. We will give them a training. We will give before the auction. We will give them a training, and we will have a sense of security from them whether they are capable to use this system. Then we'll give that kind of training. Scalability. If any asset, let's assume there are more participants who want to do auction. In the one asset, only 100 bidders were there. For another property, there were 1 lakh bidders. So the system can be scalable, so it can take the bids from those people also. So considering that we have tied up with one of the biggest auction player in the market. So what we are visualizing and which can be useful, and it is tested also, forward auction. In a forward auction, where like any liquidator want to sell of asset and fix the reserve price and want to do a liquidation. So multiple bidder will come on platform and they will do an auction. So like in an example I'm giving, and a liquidator say I want in a reserve price, I want to sell some assets or group of assets as 5 lakh rupees. One bidder is saying 6 lakh, other is saying 7.5 lakh, other is saying 9 lakh. So H1, highest one will be identified from the system. So the objective here is to increase the value of the asset. So whoever will give a more will be given that award, and auction will be conducted. But the same platform, if we are doing the reverse auction, which can be used in an interim finance. Now let's assume RP or RP want to raise a 5 crore to run the business. So we will upload all the required documentation. Maybe at the first stage, you will only give the brief information, and people will apply for that thing. If you after due diligence, you allow people to participate in that thing. Before that, you will give them a full access of the information on the platform. And once everything is ready, you will call them on a reverse auction platform. where they will again do a bidding, but in this thing it will be a reverse bidding. So one person will say, I will give it a 15%, another will say 22% per annum, other will say 16% per annum. So the objective here will be a lowest one in a reverse auction. So whoever is the lowest one will be given the award to finance that bid. Even it is not on terms of only percentage, or if you want to make it like I will give a out of 5 crore, I will give a 2 crore at this person. So all bids can be accommodated, and RP can review all the bids and decide accordingly. So as I said, that there are a different type of auctions. There's a continuous auction or closed bid auction. Like you will just submit, and RP will open all the folders at particular time and see who is the most suitable, and accordingly will take a decision. So this is the auction platform. An auction platform, we will give a two kind of services is included in that thing. Auction services is like as I said, there's our platform is supporting multi-auction rules, English, Dutch, Japanese, forward or reverse, hybrid or custom rules. If you want to make any custom rules, like what we heard in one of the case where RP wanted, or the COC, there's an option that highest bid also should not be available or displayed on while doing an auction. So we can hide that thing. You can do the auction of retail, property as a one asset or group of asset. So we will do that thing. In our system, if reverse price is 1, then we will consider as a one auction. Now this reserve price can be like a group of assets, 10 assets together. You want to do auction, that will also consider as a one auction. Stage wise, if you want to do a single stage auction or multi-stage, multi-level auction or extension cycles, I want to attract your attention on this extension cycles. So now let's assume you decided that auction will conduct till 5 p.m. But at the last moment, before the 5 p.m., 4:59, there was a one bid from the one of the bidder. Then you can design a system such a way that in the last minute, if anyone is putting any bid, then time will be extended for next 10 minutes. So the other bidders can think and they can also apply. See, here the objective is to get the maximum value. So till the time there's no price discovery or higher price discovery, the system can go. There could be endless extension times. So you can conduct that thing, or you can decide it at the first only in the terms and condition. It will be extended maximum 5 times or 10 times. So you can set that thing. You will set before conducting the auction only. Seamless bidding. So there's a manual bid or auto bid, no manual entry bid, live matching. System will match live and show you. So analytics, the system will give an auction floor, whole bid book, each tick by tick or click by click, all the trades, all the auction bidding will be available to you for your evaluation or for your analysis. So auction status will be available live to the administrator, liquidator or RP in whatever case, and historic will be available, so you can view and you can see the pattern. Ever live auction, like a click by click tracking will be available. Auction replay, if you found any suspicious and you want to do an auction replay, like you want to see whether there was something circular way kind of thing where one person just to increase the price is playing that out, you can identify that thing. So H1, H2, H3, you can find live tracking, you can keep, or L1, L2, L3, you can keep that thing. Post auction services, allotment and disbursement. System will be capable to collect the EMD as well as the reversal of the EMD to the unsuccessful players. Reports, whatever you want, you can generate it and do the analysis. Notification strategies, there will be notifications on that thing, settlement and refund, and ultimately all this information will be stored in a VDR. So our auction platform system will be closely integrated with the VDR system, where you can give all the access information, asset information from the VDR system, and auction will happen only on this platform. So information is restricted at one place, or information will not flow. Information, when I say information of the asset, will not flow here and there. That will be available at one place. The auction platform will be used only for doing the auctioning, and whatever output of the auction platform, including all reports, click by click tracking, will again come back to store in a VDR system, which can be stored next for 8 years, or whatever reports you want to generate from that thing, you can generate. So if you see, and Shankar sir already explained and Raman sir already explained, NESL Apple model can generate more than 200 reports, registers, forms required under the CIRP, LP, or as prescribed by the IBBI, IPA, and A. So these reports are available So monthly reports, quarterly reports, annual reports, all these forms will be available. You have to just download, sign it and upload it. In future, we will provide the e-signing functionality also, so you can just e-sign and submit directly. Digitally signed reports can be generated and sent to the regulators or required people. So this is for the presentation. Any questions on that? Shankar sir?
Yes. Yes, sir.
So there are some questions already there in Q&A section.
You can raise that so that either Mr. Raman or I can.
Yeah. So, sir, I will just read one by one question.
Yeah.
So, question is, please repeat the process of accessing the information from IU by IPs and creditors as well. I would like to answer this, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
who got the assignment of the any case? So let's assume ABC company as a IRP, you got the assignment. You can just register on our platform. Registration is a one-time, which is free of cost. Log in our application and put a request for accessing the information of corporate debtor. When you will put this request, you are required to upload the code assignment order also. You will upload that thing. Our operations team will verify that thing grant the access to this information. Once you got the access of the information, you can see all the creditors information are uploaded against that particular corporate debtor from our system, which will be very helpful for you to do the claim verification, and even it will be helpful to you to see whether any claimant is not missed. Maybe some claimant which is a creditor which is not aware about the CIRP process and he forgot to put the claim. So you can identify some record is already there and you can reach those people. So this is available to you, this information. Second question, Shankar sir, is how robust is the data integrity and security in IU? Shankar sir?
Mr. Raman can answer this. Okay, you say that he is not there.
Okay. So would you like to answer, sir? Please. Yeah. Question is, how robust is the data integrity and security in IU?
Oh, that is simple. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So IU has a certain standards which are prescribed by the IBBI, and very roughly, put for all the benefit of all of you, the security standard for data security and for processes that are run on the information utility are equivalent to standards that RBI has prescribed for the banks, for the banking operations. So we are applying the same standards even for the IP module or the CIRP module. So whatever standards exist currently in the information utility for holding data uploaded by the banking system and access of that data by persons who are eligible to access, the same security standards will be maintained for the CIRP module. So you can rest assured that it is the highest standards that are prescribed within the financial sector.
The next question.
Can IU to replace?
Okay, I'll read it out.
Yeah.
Sir, next question is, can IU Can IU replace all these agencies and become an integrated information warehousing institution in India? If so, when can we expect a re-engineered IU in India for all credit information requirements, including IBC as well as for credit underwriting? Hello.
Hello.
Raman sir?
Yeah.
Can you hear?
So if that question is asking about integration of different databases within the financial system, is that the question?
No, whether IU can replace all the existing and be an integrated information warehousing.
No, but the existing databases or repositories are those which are within the financial system today. Is that right? So basically, we're talking about there is a very large database under MCA 21 for companies. There is our database which RBI has for large credits which are more than 5 crores under the name Trillic. Then we have another repository by the name Cersei. Now, Cersei is meant for holding information about assets that are under charge or security interest of creditors. Now, these are the three large databases which are based on certain statutes or executive orders. The aim of each of these is under their respective laws. So I appreciate the question very much that as a country, we should be able to have an architecture where there is a single source of truth. So a single source of truth means that in a single place, we should be able to have the full debt information of a particular borrower. And we should also be able to know that a particular asset, is it encumbered? And if it is encumbered across how many loans? So we are still, I would say, some time away from such a centralization. What we have pursued as NESL, and we have written to all the authorities concerned, including Ministry of Finance and RBI, that there must be an attempt by the regulator, be it RBI, be it IBBI, be it the Ministry of Finance. First, the attempt is to ensure that the credit systems within the banking sphere, we should be able to have some uniformity within that. And then we will be able to look at how the integration happens between MCA 21 and what is there under the banking sector. So a lot of white papers and a lot of research papers have been made. It is actually, from a technical point of view, very easy to do, because it simply requires a sort of a layer coming above IU, Cersei and MCA 21. That layer will be common for the rest of the world, and therefore the rest of the world will interact with each of these systems through a single interface layer. But the decision really has got to be taken by the authorities concerned, and that probably will take some time. But given the amount of focus and pressure that we are trying to bring, the RBI is also well, appraised of this situation. My own guess is that within about a year's time, we should be able to make, good progress on this.
Sir, then there are questions on fee. So I will explain the fee structure so that, 2-3 questions will get answered, sir. Somebody has asked whether individual IP is required to purchase the software. If so, what is the cost? No, sir. It is a web-based application. You have a subscription model. You come and register and start using that, and you don't have to buy the software. And is there a system to subscribe the software and pay monthly fee? As of now, we have, it is almost like it's not a monthly fee as such. We are for CIRP, that is from a IRP appointment or even application stage to the resolution period for a year, 12 months, 270 or 330, 180, 270 or 330, it will be a lakh. That is less than 9,000 rupees per month you pay. If it is a liquidation, starting from the liquidation commencement day and appointment of liquidator to the final resolution for a period of 12 months, which is like, prescribed. So it is 1,20,000 rupees. There is around 10,000 rupees for maintaining all the registers and all those stuff. This is for CARP and liquidation. In case you want only the VDR, interim finance, invite EOI for applications, finalization of plans and liquidation and auction under liquidation, it is 50,000 rupees, whether you use interim finance or not. Like for combined, whether it is 3 services or 4 services, it is 50,000 rupees. If it is like a resolution, we expect, it takes from the 75th day to 270 days or what, like, if the resolution plan getting finalized. Liquidation, like an auction, like during the period, whenever you have, like, again from 75th day or to the end of auction, it will be. So combined together, it is 50,000 rupees. Auction platform charges will be additional. That we are tying up with an established auction platform, as Chetan was explaining. So auction like charges will be extra. And if there is an e-voting, like, that will be extra as of now. And if you are like for storage of all this information, electronic storage of all this information, as of now, we are planning to have 4 rupees per MB for 8 years. So these are all the fee structure now. And there is one question for what is the procedure of uploading the information. Chetan, you can reply to that.
What is the question is, what is the procedure of uploading the information, whether the same corporate wise or the same could be uploaded under the name of IP. If you're talking about the information utility information uploading, then an information utility form C would be uploaded as a loan wise. So if any corporate having a 5 loans, so 5 times that 5 loans information will be uploaded in our system. In case of CIP process and IP model, then again you will upload against the corporate data wise the information, because that case is against the corporate data, you will upload against that corporate data. Next is an individual IP is required to purchase is done with the system. How to use the platform for auction during the liquidation? So as I discussed, give a full information, because this question was asked before the presentation only. What is the charge for the auction? Auction charge will be like a market rate. Less than that, even we are trying to get it, because we are doing that kind of negotiation with the vendor. So we'll give a proper rates on that thing. Can an RP or LP can have the facility to get the compliance reports from IU? Yes, all the reports required from the compliance wise, all the reports available required by the educating authority or IBBR, IPA, we are developing. As I said, there are more than 200 reports already there. So we are developing from system. You can generate, and you can download, sign and upload to the respective wherever you have to submit it.
Even a template can be uploaded. That is what finally you have to go on IBBA's filing platform, and you will have to file the returns reports, which if a template we can, like, we already have the system, it can be directly uploaded into the IBBA's filing platform.
Okay. So another question is
another is
whether compliance of section 29A, but that is can access through the IU.
We want a little compliance of, like, compliance by the IPs, no? I think
compliance of section 29A.
Okay.
But the resolution applicant can be accessed through IU.
Yeah, if it is when the due diligence is completed, and if you want that whether they are eligible, that definitely I don't think we have as on date, we have the information whether this solution applicant comes under this. You have to do, can give connection. See, like we are in the future, we may give a link to the willful defaulters list. Like, we can over a period that SEBI's list of like directors who are ineligible, all those things. But as of now, it is like, it is under development. If that is the question which you are asking. Yes, sir. Next.
The question is, hello team, the E platform is mandatory for IPRP liquidity to use as per IBP regulation, or is it purely on a direct discretion of the respective IPRP? So basically, we are starting, currently it is not a mandatory from the regulator, but if you are starting using this platform, you will find all the reports and everything available, which will be useful for not only IBBI, but for the IPA also. So this my suggestion that we should start using this platform where all RPs will start getting information from one source only. So there are a lot of queries to demonstrate this application. We in the next we'll schedule, we will directly demonstrate the application only. Currently, we are restricted with the presentation, but very soon we will demonstrate that application.
And there is a question whether the valuation report submitted by the valuer could not be viewed by others till resolution plan is submitted to COC. Yes, sir. It is as a need to know basis. The RP has the control. He can permit or he can withdraw the rights, access rights. So, and if I enter, I only can see. I cannot see what others have done and all those. So there is a clear demarcation there. Who is supposed to see, only those people will be permitted to see.
There's a question, sir. What will happen in case of replacement of RP? Then how the data will be provided to the another RP?
Yeah, that is between IRP and RP to liquidator. Once the appointment, order, adjudicating authority gives the order for the RP. So with that, the RP comes in and the IRP hands over, and the login ID and password will be created for the RP, and later the IRP cannot access any information, only the RP. Similarly, after RP, the liquidator takes over, but RP will have access. Liquidator can, if it is the same RP who is going into liquidator, he can continue the same thing or he can hand over. And in a recent discussion with IBPA, they wanted also somebody verify whether the person, RP who is coming in and claiming he is the RP, whether he is the right person. What we do, we take the RP registration number from IBBI, we take the appointment of the adjudicating authority's order to appoint the RP. But now we will get some more information from the gentleman who is coming as an RP. And back end, our operations side, some senior officers will do a basic verification whether he is a person, maybe identity verification. So then the RP can continue to handle the case.
So there's a question is, what is the procedure to obtain the record of default? So from IU platform, whoever is uploading the default information. So Form C is having a different section. The one section is out of the Form C is a default section. If any information Form C is uploaded with the default section, NESL will complete the process as per the as mentioned in the regulation. And after that, you can download the record of default, which will be a digitally signed generated from the IU portal. You can download from the web portal itself. So this is a way of generating a record of default. So all creditors are downloading from their system. All the banks are having their own login, so they are downloading after uploading a default record in a system. There's a question whether this platform is single user or multi-user. Yes, this platform is a multi-user. As a RP, you can create your sub-users. So yes, you can create a sub-user only for view their work access. In that case, you can divide between your different users also. So it's a multi-user platform.
One question is there. The platform e-platform is mandatory for IPRP liquidator to use for IBP regulation, or it is uses purely the discretion of respective IPRP liquidator. Raman sir?
No, I think it's very clear that there is no compulsion for anybody to use a particular system. But I think if all of you can appreciate from a macro level point of view, that for a regulator, in this case IBBI, it's very important that one, the data is kept secure for a period of 8 years. It is also important that all data security falls within the overall laws of the land, which is basically says that the data must be held within India. So if you look at across most government organizations and across what is known as the certain uh, panel of accredited data security experts, there is a very clear understanding whether it be for confidential and sensitive data, or even for cases where it is a matter of e-commerce. There is a heightened view that data security of customers and transaction data which flows between a service provider and a customer, this information should not be exploited without the permission of the owner of the data, that is typically the customer. So we are talking about a company and the company's data. Now, an IP has no right to sell that data in the market. The data pertaining to CIRP is owned entirely by the company and by the IBBI. So it is really about looking at data ownership and data rights. We do not know how IPs will behave. We do not know what an IP might do, which IP might decide to part with the data to somebody who is not authorized to see the data. So it's very important from a system point of view to ensure that data, and especially sensitive data, is kept under a very tight control, and access is provided only as per the rules prescribed by the authority. So there's a lot of thinking that has gone into this entire activity that IBBI has attempted to get started. So we must understand that if somebody has the ability to create a software system for themselves, by all means you may like to use it, but you will also be under the same prescriptions of data security that apply to any of these data security standards for sensitive information. So since IU is a regulated entity of IBBI, and since IU is already up and running and very crucial and sensitive information of the entire credit industry of the country is held by IU, therefore, from a data security point of view for a period of 8 years, it makes a lot of sense for such data to be held centrally and securely. Thank you.
To add to what Mr. Raman said, like this is one burden which is like off your shoulder. If you are using this, you don't have to, you feel rest assured that it is in the safe hands. And like as for 8 years, it will be stored in the right way. And also, we are also working with some external vendors to give some reduced rates for storing the hard copies of your documents also. We will be announcing it very soon. We are working with 2 or 3 so that you get at a slightly subsidized rate than the market. So you can have the electronic as well as it will be a different agreement with that vendor, not through the NESL, but it will be a strong and established company. And one more, Mr. Like earlier, there was a question of Mr. Ganeshan on section 29A. I said we can give a link for willful defaulters, disqualify directors and all. How IU can help you in this is, now all the banks have submitted the NPA accounts. So you can find out whether this resolution applicant's account is NPA in the IU. By giving the PAN number, you can search whether he is a NPA or whether he has repaid that. That one information IU immediately can give. Yes, sir. Next question, Chetan.
Is there any provision for RS from overseas to the system? Yeah, it is a web-based portal. You can connect from the overseas also. There's no issue on that. There's a question: can the cost of using IP model be treated as a CIP or liquidation cost?
What is that?
Can the cost of IP model?
Yes, in our opinion, definitely it is part of the CIRP or liquidation cost. But Dr. Binay can say whether this storage for 8 years also should be part of the liquidation cost. Because they have to pay storage charges, electronic as well as hard copies. I think that should be also part of, like if it is for 3 years CIRP cost and for liquidation under liquidation cost.
Sir, Binoy is not here due to some connectivity.
Oh, okay, no issue. Then
sorry, can I just interrupt?
Yes.
It's a very good question that has been raised, and these are issues I think which we should formally take up in our meeting with the IPAs and subsequently even with IBBI, because the software cost of a CIRP or liquidation certainly is included within the process costs of that particular process, and there is no two ways of it, there's no doubt over it. But the interesting question is that data that has got collected in electronic form or in physical form, whether that also should be included as a CIRP cost. I think this is a very good question which we should put to IBBI itself and ask them to give some clarity on it, because at the end of the day, IBBI is holding this information. It belongs to IBBI.
Correct.
Both the electronic information and the physical documents are the property of IBBI.
Correct, sir.
So it would make sense for it to get included as a one-time cost, which the IP is paying and passes the cost onto the CIRP process or the liquidation process.
Yes. Sir, I extended the logic because the PDA services have been, like we have been empaneled to provide the PDA services as per IBBA, sir. So whoever is using that, naturally it has to be, that is what. But as you said, yes, we will take it up with IPA. But in our opinion, it is the CIRP or liquidation cost, yes. And there is a question, sir, whether such IU systems are there in other countries, and if yes, what is their experience? So this IU is not there in any other, bankruptcy, under any bankruptcy law of any country. So this is the first time in the scene under the bankruptcy laws when IU system has been created. Sir, there are 2-3 questions on. One gentleman said, he has tried to register and in spite of 2-3 follow-ups, he could not get the registration or login. And similarly, there somebody else says registration with NESL is very confusing. And as user, I hardly could use the website and failed to register the details of EFCs, they are saying. Acha, you want to register the details of financial creditors. Sir, we have a help desk, definitely we can. And I will reply to Mr. Lahiri and Ms. Maya Gupta. We will write to you about this, and also we can send you to the IPAs, the registration process which they can circulate, and it is available on our website also, NESL website also. Still, I will send you the mail.
Shankar sir, there is one direct question to me. What are required to upload the default data of a borrower?
What is that?
What is the document? What are the documents required to upload default data of borrower?
Yeah, you tell me. You tell that form. Our form C.
So it is form C is form C. In the form C, you have to upload a data. Form C is divided in 4 parts: submitter information, creditor information, borrower information. If there is a borrower, co-borrower, guarantor, means those information. So that information. Third is a debt information. And fourth, if security is there, then security information. The last part is a default. So default section you have to upload. If you think the document is required, there's an option to upload a document. So whatever the supporting documents you have, you can upload those information over there. In case of operational creditor, you can upload like a delivery challenge or something. Whatever documents you have, is demand notice, you can upload this on our system.
Sir, in the case of default, even if you don't submit the default, once you file, it goes to the corporate debtor for authentication. Okay, so the recently IU regulation has been amended to include a status which says that deemed to have been authenticated, deemed to be authenticated. So even if you submit the document, it is very clear, good. But even without, as a financial creditor, if you submit, it goes to the corporate debtor for authentication. So that itself will do. The record of default will carry the information. What was the amount and when it was sent and all. A detail will be coming in the record of default.
One more option, sir, for operational creditors, we have an IU platform. We of generating a demand notice. So yeah, as a operational creditors, you can log in along with Form C. You can generate demand notice format. So our system not only will send a Form C, but demand notice to your corporate debtor or any over there, operational data. Download that PDF format of demand notice and print and send as a normal registered post or code that also. So this functionality is also introduced to the operational creditors.
There is a question: Does an IP have to become a member or subscribe to IU? Sir, you'll have to register on the IU platform, and then once as you have appointed as an IRP or RP, you can start using the systems, software system. And then to whom to contact for getting?
There is no registration cost. I think, Shankar,
no, sir. They wanted to know whether they just asked whether IP have to become a member. Subscribe in the sense no charges. You have to register yourself. No registration charges. There is a question: how an IRP whose tenure is for a month can use this service? Sir, from the time you are appointed, you have to immediately come out with the public announcement within 3 days. So that plus when the claims come and up to COC formation, you have to do. So you have, that is a very important part of the process, because the acceptance or rejection of claims. So you have a very, very important tool in this record available electronically, where the claimants come and submit their claims, you verify, approve and form the COC. The COC then decide whether IRP has to continue as RP or a new RP comes. So even for an IRP, it is a very, very important period. So you can use it.
Can I just interrupt here? I just want to make an additional point that this question is very interesting. If I think of, case. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. So the question is interesting because if there is a case that gets withdrawn fairly quickly, so I think under 12A typically you can withdraw a case even before the COC gets formed, or even subsequently if the COC gets formed and there is an event where the resolution is completely scrapped and there is a need to withdraw the case. So I think we will I'll appreciate this point. We will build it into our whatever the cost of using the software, the license fee. We will have a system where if a case is immediately withdrawn before a particular point, then we'll have a some kind of reduction in the license fee or some limited amount of license fee, so that a full 1 lakh is not paid by somebody who is used the system only for 30 days or 40 days or whatever it is. So we should work that out.
Achha. Sir, one more question was, same question, can the cost of, your answers were not audible, they say, Raman's audit. on which.
Sorry, should I just repeat what I said?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, so I appreciate the question, and I think we should take cognizance of the fact that certain cases may get withdrawn, certain cases under 12A might, be retracted fully, certain other cases under certain, regulatory provisions might, close the entire CIRP process. So for certain exceptional cases, we will rework the license fee or the cost of the using the particular CIRP software, so that if somebody is getting out of the case within 40 days or 50 days, there is no requirement for them to pay the full cost of 1 lakh. So we will work out something for these exceptional cases.
Covered all the questions.
Yeah, sir, we can do a trial run with a mock case and all. You can write to us separately. We will look at that. There is one question which only IBBA and IPA can reply. CO is telling that by using CIRP or liquidation package is reducing own staff strength. Why should be included in CIRP cost beyond fee of IP? Any guidelines from IBBA for this? That we will check up, sir. Then what is the time gap of data generated by banks and other creditors is reflected in NESL site, that is real-time data availability. See, now all the financial creditors submit on a monthly basis to us. Okay, majority of the financial creditors, and we have been after all the financial creditors who submitted on a monthly basis. So month means, by 31st March may come up to 31st May 20 may come up to 15th June or something like that. So that is the real time which we have. Another question is whether IU is facilitating publications in newspapers required. Sir, we given link, which are all the regional newspapers in various states and English newspapers. You can click on that. But other than that, we do not have any direct this thing with the newspapers or advertisement agencies. No. Can NESL get real-time data from banks to be more effective, sir?
No, sorry.
Can NESL get real-time data from banks to be more effective? Sir, you are muted.
So this aspect of data coming from financial creditors, this has been raised with the RBI by the IBBI, and I think it's well understood and well accepted that information from financial creditors must be available on a periodic basis, and they should strictly adhere to this. Already, let me inform you that the information utility is a 24/7 platform. So at any stage, any creditor can file a default. What we are talking about doing on a periodic monthly basis is the bulk submission of thousands of loans by each of the financial creditors. But nothing prevents a financial creditor from making a submission on IU whenever they choose. They can do it on a daily basis if they want to update their outstanding position. A default, as I said, can be filed at any point of time by any creditor. So even when it comes to the CIRP or the date of commencement of insolvency, as on that date, the claims need to be filed. So nothing prevents a financial creditor from filing the information of default or claim as the date of commencement of insolvency. It is totally open to them. What we are trying to impress upon IBBI is that something should be built into the regulation so that the clarity is available to everybody.
I think these are the questions so far. Chetan, do you see any other questions?
Sir, there is a one question, if a liquidator due to low fees don't want to continue on the IP model, where the RP and IRP used for the CIRP, can he discontinue? And how to get the data and exit from the NESL IP model?
You
So-
can.
Let us take this question and we will discuss it. We appreciate this feedback. We will also look at it internally, but one thing is that for removing the data from this system, if data has already been put inside this system, the data will remain in this system. So IBBI has not contemplated that the data will be removed from the PDA module. Now, for somebody who wants to use the system and then after a few months not use the system, that we will have to reflect upon and we will see how we can address that. But data once put in will remain with the IU forever. Certainly a copy of that data may be taken by the IP and maybe put somewhere else, depending on the rules of the IBBI, whatever they may be.
Sir, okay, sir. Now, I got any further queries? ICSI can collect and send to us. If unanswered questions are there, we definitely will reply to each one of you. And you can also write to us, Sankar SA. I will type that to everybody, so you can write to me. Just a second. So you can write to this mail ID so that I can reply to all your queries. Dr. Vijay is there or Shakshu?
No, sir. Noisa is not here. So on behalf of ICSI IIP, I would like to thank to all of you for giving your precious time on a Sunday morning and giving your inputs on the topic and the subject matter and clearing out all the queries raised by the participants. Thank you, Raman sir. Thank you, Shankar sir, and thank you, Chetan sir, for your precious time giving to ICSI IIP.
Thank you.
So one request from the
Thank you,
participants.
everybody, and thank you for listening to us patiently. And I hope you will be able to utilize these services very, very soon. Thank you so much.
Chakshu was saying something.
Yes, sir. Chetan sir, participants are requesting for the presentation. So it will be available to all.
I downloaded all the questions. Okay, so
we will do that.
Okay, sir.
Thank you all.
Thank you to all participants. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.